All that the Father gives me will come to me, and him who comes to me I will not cast out. A soul may come out of the blue, and that soul must be honoured and received as its Maker honours and would receive it. Woe betide the person who sends a soul away into the dark without being aware of where it is going. We notice that the Father gives the Son the soul. In another passage of the same chapter, it is said that they will all be taught by God. It is also said that no one can come unless the Father draws him. A soul is drawn by the Spirit of God. It can repulse and deflect that drawing, or it can follow it. What makes for following it? What makes for repelling it? The mode of receptivity of the soul. Actually, that mode operates on 2 levels, even 3. It operates on the level of the emission of noise given to God, on the level of emission of noise given to others, and on the level of emission of noise given to itself. Initially, the Lord might want the soul to say many things to him, even to talk to him a lot. But as time goes on, the king would prefer if it said very little. Indeed, it might say, stop talking. Silence with God is clinging to God. And for that to happen, one needs to be aware that one is clinging to the silent one, who, if he really is to be heard, must really have space. And at that point, he needs a lot of stillness. It applies to the soul with itself. One does not need to be arguing with oneself, to having an interior dialogue with oneself. Much interior hemorrhaging takes place with regard to the enemy of the soul, which is interior noise. We don't have to be always in dialogue in our head, judging and talking, reacting and even internally swearing. All this is waste of energy. It could be better employed. And then the fruit of stillness acquired is to be seen in what comes out of us and how we treat our others around us, because that also is not without indifference with regard to the consequences for the soul. So, the one who finds itself really face to face with God does not talk in the depth, but is. A word here and a word there, from heart to heart, is all that is needed, and all loaded in that word, because it comes from the Spirit of God, the Spirit praying in us. It does not talk, it cannot talk, for talk is to exclude the felt presence of the silent one. Fundamental stillness met. The noisy soul, therefore, is not the intimate of the Sacred Heart. It cannot be. Even in specifically neutral authors, we find an awareness of the importance of these things. Why? The structure of the soul is fundamentally the same, and some parts of human experience are common to all mankind over the centuries, even pre-Christian. Mohandas Gandhi has a few gems indicating how interior souls can find the same extremes which meet. Din cannot chase away din, only silence can do so. Man impoverishes things far more with words than with silence. When you are in doubt as to whether it is better to talk or to keep silence, choose silence. Silence dilates the space of time in our life. If we ceased to talk of useless things and spoke of useful things, using a minimum of words, we would save much time, both for ourselves and for others. When useless chats become a habit, we must free ourselves from them, closing obstinately our mouth, or if necessary, sewing our lips together. Even a useless word offends truth. For this reason, it is easier to practice truth if we observe silence. It is true also in our attitude even to books and to screens. To know the power of a passing word, to taste it, to unpack it, to hear its echo, we need to pause with its grace and savour that grace. The soul that cannot stop ingesting words is missing their depth. God, in his speech, is simple. His word is the Logos. And as St. John of the Cross said, he utters it in silence.